All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
So no looking in the eyes. Bad luck for 7 years.
We look them. Okay.
Ooh. Whoops. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to Too Perfect Podcast. My name is Yzel.
My name is Renz. And we're not perfect. Too Perfect is a podcast dedicated to 3 things.
First, we are dedicated to sharing personal stories and owning our imperfection.
Second, we just want to create a safe space so you can share your most authentic selves.
And last but not least, third, building a community for people who are fed up with the pressure to be perfect.
Yeah,
So,
fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. So, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can
already
see
tell.
we have a very special guest.
Woo!
And we actually already talked about her in episode 3. She's one of our best friends, Mykah.
Hi, all. Can you see her aura, everybody?
Everybody read her
Please,
aura.
please tell
Read
us
her
if
aura.
you agree from what we said last time.
So we actually talked about you in
Yeah.
episode 3, which is
Okay.
like
Because we're so
aura.
obsessed with you.
And
Well, gotta give the people what they want.
yeah, exactly. And we were talking about like different colors and whatnot, and we associated your personality with a specific color. So we're like asking the audience, if you're watching this on YouTube,
Yeah.
go ahead and try to get a read for
A read.
what you think her color is for her aura. That's
Oh,
gonna
yes.
be super fun.
Oh no!
Don't be nervous.
read
It's
it.
cool.
Don't
It's
read
cool.
it.
Why? I think we're spot on. Please tell
I
us
think-
if we are.
I think we're spot on. But okay, so just to preface,
Mm-hmm.
today's episode is gonna get a little graphic. We're gonna
If you cannot tell, like obviously if
Graphic
you're
is
in
our
the
outfits.
like if you're in the audio, you might not be able to know, but if you're in the visual, you can tell something extra is going on.
We're extra. We're on
We're
my
on the
bed.
bed.
We're in wigs. We're in lingerie. We're in robes. We're feeling ourselves. We're drinking.
Yes.
But
We're cute.
Today's episode is about sex.
Oh.
So just to warn you guys, if you are listening to this podcast,
It's not gonna be PG.
and there's little ones around, you might want to either, move them somewhere else or maybe
Lock
watch
them in a
this
closet.
podcast later.
Yeah.
Make sure you're talking to the
Yeah.
mic.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry. Lock them in a closet.
Test it out.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, so just to warn you guys, it's gonna get pretty graphic and yeah. So anyways, today's topic, sex. Friends, why do we want to talk about this topic?
Why are you always gonna start it?
That's our
especially
thing.
now
That's
that
our
we
thing.
have like
That's
a
our
third
thing.
person.
No.
Okay, why do we want to talk about sex? Because first of all, it's very important. I feel like when I was super young, I was super exposed to the feelings of sex, but no one ever talked to me about it. So here we are.
What do you mean you were exposed to the feelings of sex?
Like, it's in the media.
Okay,
and like
yeah.
I got the feelings in my vagina.
We all do.
She got a little tingle.
Left field.
Exactly, but no one specifically like told me about it. Like
Yeah.
nobody. So I
Yeah.
kept it in. I just hoarded it in, and I just did some self-exploratory stuff. So I had to figure it out on my own. So we want to talk about it. So
Let's be honest. Like that's everybody. We may be
Exactly.
closeted about
You
it.
know what?
But everyone explores their bodies. It's just like, because I did it too. But I wouldn't have told nobody.
I'm very curious as to who actually had a talk with their parents
Yes.
or their guardian
Yes.
or whoever about
Yeah.
sex. Like, did you guys have a conversation? Heck,
No.
my parents, I grew up Catholic, I'm Filipino,
Yeah.
so that is like, no, you don't even think about
Christian.
sex.
That's a big no-no.
So if you guys,
Yeah.
listeners, the audience, if you did have that conversation, what was that like? Because I
wanna know.
I'm very curious.
And what did it sound like? What was said? Because
Do you remember it?
I feel
verbatim?
like with us
Yeah.
being, more, Catholic Christian,
Yeah.
it's going to be more so a talk, not educational, but more so, this is what's
Don't
gonna
do
happen,
it.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
like, this is what your body's going through, these are the changes you can expect, this is what sex is like and what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I got that from like sex ed, 6th grade, one day in class. Yeah, like it wasn't
one
even
conversation.
Yeah.
And then I went home to my
it's
parents.
a barely conversation.
Yeah. With strangers,
not.
mind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go home and ask your parents, like, yeah, we learned about sex
How
today.
about
And
we
it's like,
start there? How
Did you-
was that?
did you say that?
Absolutely.
You said that to
Did
your
your
parents?
parents?
Yeah, I did. I learned
Really?
about sex. They had to sign the consent form, so
Oh,
Oh.
true.
They're just like, so what happened today?
Yeah.
And it was like, we
I
learned
guess,
about
yeah.
sex.
And
And I was
then,
just like, what did you learn about sex?
yeah.
Like
What'd you
that
tell
judgy
them?
face, you know, like that face, it's like, my child. And it was like, yeah, it was like, they're stealing her innocence. And I had to, it was almost like I had to regress.
Yeah.
Like, back to that innocent, like, oh, it wasn't a whole lot. You know, kind of covering up I don't really know.
yeah.
But I knew. It was science class. We
Yeah.
went through it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it was very scientific. You know, it didn't talk about your hormones and how you may feel. It was more so,
It's like, this
I
is
see
how
where
you get
babies
pregnant.
come from.
This is how you get pregnant, and this is what you should avoid, STDs,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
like wear condoms and stuff like that. Like the very basic, right?
Yeah.
and like with Renz, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like with Renz, she did like more exploring why she felt that way and
Yeah.
how to feel that way.
Yeah.
It was more so, well, I know babies come from shooting out from down there, so let's just not talk about it. Let's cover it up. Let's hide it, even though I'm doing the same stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Same shit, you know?
Same stuff. I
Hi.
actually today listened to a podcast.
Yeah.
Super into it, you guys. It's called Deeply Human. It's sponsored by like iHeart Podcast and also BBC
Ooh.
Radio. It's really,
International.
really good, and I love the host, Dessa. She brings on different professionals in different fields, and
wow.
the topic of today that I listened to was about sex.
Yeah.
And she got like these scientists and whatnot, and they talked about like the evolutionary standpoint and like all these interesting things. It's
A deep
really cool. Yeah, but it was only like 30 minutes or so, so it wasn't too in depth.
Pretty deep,
Yeah.
pretty quick.
But one thing I remembered was they were talking about like the female orgasm.
Let's go.
And in a scientific standpoint, I thought this was an interesting point. We don't know what it's for. Like, scientists don't know the purpose, like...
To encourage women to do it. I'm just
I
kidding.
mean, yeah, but they're, like, scientifically, there's
Yeah.
really not anything scientific about a female orgasm.
As far as like the pleasure senses, like there's no use for it.
Yeah.
I
no,
know
just like the
what they
actual
use it for.
climax.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you can experience pleasure during sex, but that doesn't necessitate that you're going to orgasm.
Orgasm, yeah.
Yeah. So the specific point was like the orgasm, we don't really know.
Yeah, because
that
people
interesting? I would
always
love
get
to
pregnant.
study.
Like scientifically,
Yeah.
the point is to get pregnant.
Because
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
way back when we were
Yeah.
a lot more conservative,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of our sexual relationships and whatnot, there were women that had kids and never had experienced an orgasm.
Yeah.
Women without kids too.
But honestly, though, always let your women orgasm. Please.
What she said.
And they said this is the age. These are people who study sexual
Yeah.
relationships, and there were multiple speakers
Yeah.
and whatnot. But they were saying this is the era,
Where we care about it most.
like the most sexual freedom.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
this
absolutely.
now.
I definitely
Right?
agree with that. Because even like us, we're all the same age, okay? Same generation.
Mm-hmm.
Different
Yeah.
experiences. But one thing that I've noticed is just off topic. One thing that used to be taboo is like, let's say someone who may be, you know, gay, right? It was a
Okay.
taboo topic. And now you have cartoons that are gay. It's more open and acceptable. So I can definitely relate what they say about this being a more sexually conscious and like sexual awakening. Progressive. Because someone like me and guys, you know, like I may be out of the bunch. No, I definitely am. Out of the bunch, I may be a little bit more conservative. You know, my outfit isn't saying that, but I am.
She's naked, you guys.
Right?
If you're
I'm
not
wearing
on YouTube,
one
go
dress.
ahead and click onto YouTube.
Okay, and I feel great in it. I feel so pretty.
Look at her. She's the most exposed. She's the most exposed. I'm pretty covered up.
She's got a pillow on her lap.
I don't want my.
I just feel
hoo-ha to
so
be out
pretty,
there.
so I just want to like
Yes,
show
girl.
it, right?
And I think a lot
Yeah.
of like the new generation now, and I'm loving it. I'm
Yeah.
seeing it on TikTok. I'm seeing
Yeah.
it on Instagram.
Social media
There's
and
just so
whatnot.
much ownership on sexuality.
Absolutely.
That is
Yeah.
like there's no shame in showing like anything because
Yeah.
that doesn't define you. You know.
But you know what? Like, if
Uh-huh.
you go back far enough, and I know this is slightly off topic,
Mm-hmm.
like in the like early 20s, like the roaring
Yes.
20s, when you had people like
The 1920s.
yeah, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, the 1920s, 1920s,
yes.
and you had like the flappers, and they didn't wear bras, and they were very sexual people. They showed their bodies, and then it moved into a more conservative like era in the States. So it's just like we moved into the 40s and 50s where it's like covering it up, hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, you had like people like Josephine Baker, who was a flapper dancer, dancing nude, and it was like that was the times.
Mm-hmm.
So I think also it has a lot to do with just culturally when we
Yes.
move as a phase, like it will go from being more aware and progressive and accepting to more conservative and shaming, and it's just like it just comes in waves. I feel.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah. Ask it.
When did you experience your sexual awakening?
Yes. I love that question.
She just experienced it right now.
No, you know I have not.
yeah.
Go ahead, Mykah, since you're the guest, and
Wait,
I
what?
always get put in the spot to answer first.
Oh, okay, like I'm on the spot right now. You're right. Okay, so
Yeah.
mine was actually very recently. And
Yesterday.
It's like been no shit though. Like
from search.
it's been
No one's asking you. I'm so sorry.
maybe.
Google thought we asked her. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I like that they're always listening. So
Do you like that?
for me, you know, sometimes, but for me, honestly, I think I had that conversation with you last year.
Mm-hmm.
Where I just like really noticed it, and I was just unhappy with my sex life, and like I've been with duds.
Mm-hmm.
I've been with duds, you know, and for the men that I've been with, you don't know if you're the dud or not, so you don't know.
even need to call them
It hasn't been like a lot, but it's been there's been some guys,
I'm just kidding.
and it's just like. It's just one of those things where if you're someone like me, if you're someone who's more conservative, right? You're not extremely open with your sexual like life, and I don't know, you may not just be as comfortable because you're not unaware of where you stand sexually.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of women, you know? You
Yeah.
feel like if you haven't had an orgasm,
Yeah.
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
If you haven't found a partner that can satisfy you, it's because you're doing something wrong, or your bait is weak and you're just attracting lames.
It happens.
Like yeah, and like
happens.
we all start thinking that way. But one thing that I realized after talking to Yzel last year during, you know, the Great Depression, 2020,
Yeah.
I had a lot of time sitting alone in my place by myself
Uh-huh.
in quarantine to reflect on like what I want my sex life to look like and what was holding me back from that.
Okay.
And I realized a lot of it was me.
Okay.
Yes.
It's insecurities
Yes.
for sure.
Ooh.
A lot of it is insecurities. Insecurities with my bodies, insecurities with men. You know, like I am very comfortable with people in general,
Yeah.
but when it gets
Yeah.
down to the dirty, I'm just like, oh, I don't know, like not from this angle, like turn the lights off. Maybe I should wear something sexier. And I feel like I'm so in my head that I'm ruining the experience, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm not being vocal about what I like. And that
How to
also
get you off.
changes. Yeah.
Yes,
So you
yes.
kind of put yourself in your own way, but at the same time, how you feel about yourself also dictates your partners, the kind of guys you're bringing into your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So you're feeling lame, even though you're not, and then you're bringing home lames because you feel that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's like a cycle.
Yes.
And so my sexual awakening, to answer your question, was last year because I realized, you know what? Like, I'm not effing with lames anymore because I'm not lame. I may not know what I'm doing, so I'm going to go get an expert,
Yeah.
right? Who knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Number one, I know that I might be satisfied, but at least he'll be open to hearing what I have to say about what I want because they're used to it, you know?
And then
I love that.
Communication, and I love it.
Communication's key.
Yeah.
I did not know that you were gonna say that. Like,
Me
I
too.
didn't really know what you were gonna say.
I don't talk about my shit. I told you guys. I don't talk about it. I'm conservative.
But the fact that
Yeah.
it was last year is kind of
It's
blowing
gagging.
my mind.
It's gagging.
Do you remember the conversation?
Yes, I do remember. the
Okay,
conversation.
yeah. You didn't know that all that was following.
No, I
What's
didn't.
happening?
I didn't think
It was
that
a
it was
basic
gonna create.
conversation.
But like, okay.
I didn't think it was gonna create some sort of like sexual awakening. Now,
Can
when
I-
was your?
Oh,
do your
okay.
question.
Okay. Let me answer your question first, and then I'll ask you my question.
No, ask
after
her
that.
question first.
Yeah,
it's
because I
gonna
will
flow, it's
forget.
gonna flow.
You know.
Yeah.
You like me?
I'm
I'll
just,
forget.
I just want to know. It's like, okay, that's your sexual awakening, but were you did you have that sexual feeling before your sexual awakening, or did it happen?
Of course, she ain't having sex without the sexual.
Absolutely.
feeling.
Like,
yeah.
The urge was there. I
The
think like what you mean, like the
desire.
desire, like the sexual drive was
Yes.
there.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
feel like the drive was definitely dampened or dampered.
Dampened.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, dampened,
Yes.
dampered, you know.
Dampened.
The
Yeah.
D. The D was damp. Just kidding.
But-
It was definitely dampened
Uh-huh.
by the drive was dampened by my experiences. It's like if you keep having lame experiences, you're not gonna want to do it. So
Got you.
Gotcha. Okay.
even though the
okay.
urge is there.
Got you. Okay. Because again, I'm just trying to like understand if we have the same exact definition of like what's a sexual awakening.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I had a sexual awakening way early in life. I felt like I had it like, when I was in 3rd grade. So that's around the time where I felt something going on in this region of my body.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just I just wanted to stimulate it, and there was just a lot of like shit going on. Like I'm just
Yeah.
like, that felt good, and let me just experiment.
Explore that
Exactly.
feeling.
Sweaty
So to me it was early. It was early
Yeah.
in life where I felt that, but also I understand what you're also saying, because
Mhm.
when I finally had a sexual partner, there was another like
It's
point in my life.
a different game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
it's
another
a
point in my
totally
life
different
to
game.
have to vocalize on what I need and what I need this person to perform for me, because it's obviously
Oh, that's a whole nother ball game right there.
yeah.
Because if you have never had it right, how do you know what to look for?
Exactly.
I'm like, man, it doesn't feel good. Like, make it feel good. You do it now. Like,
Yeah.
do it the way it's supposed to feel.
Interesting.
Well, what is it that you need? I don't know.
Yeah.
but you need to figure it out.
But you need to figure
Yeah.
not me.
But
Yeah.
for me,
You.
it was super early. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen some sex scenes, or I've seen some sex scenes in like the movies that I was watching, and I was just like,
what is this?
give me
It's
more
making
of
me
this.
tingle.
What movies?
Give me.
Shit.
Okay, first of all,
Just real
like
quick.
I don't know, but also I remember watching Titanic, and that scene.
Oh,
Mykah Jack.
That's
and
my
I was
favorite
gross.
movie.
Literally, it's her
It's
favorite
literally my
movie.
number one favorite movie of all time.
And I'm sure that's not my sexual awakening, because I remember some Filipino movies that like they'd get to the down and nitty gritty, and my mom will say, "Close your eyes," and I'd be like, "Okay."
You were in the room when it was playing? Oh man.
Because she was also watching it with her girlfriend.
Oh,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying? So it's like,
Man.
I was around, so every time it came on, she'd be like, "Just don't look," and I'm just not looking, but in the
But really,
realness,
it's like this.
I'm
You're doing
looking.
one of these. It's like, oh, I can't see. I
Yeah,
can't see.
yeah.
You
I don't
see.
know if that's inappropriate, but that's what I experienced, and I was
Hey,
with
it's
it,
what
and
you
I love the
experience.
feeling.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it is.
Okay, how about you, Yzel? When's your sexual awakening?
Let's hear it.
My sexual awakening happened pretty early on as well, because same thing with her. Like, I was exposed to a lot of like media, and I've always been a very curious kid. Like,
Yeah.
I was the kid that was super annoying, that it's like, what is that? Why is that? Like, constantly asking questions, to the point that my dad would be like, just read the encyclopedia. I don't know,
Just
like,
look it up yourself.
Britannica.
yeah,
Wow.
like he literally bought me Britannica. And he's like, you need to
Wow.
like look it
We
up.
had it
Because
on our
I was
computer.
constantly just like
Asking?
asking questions.
Why?
But I remember watching, I don't remember the movies, but like Filipino movies, and like there would be sex scenes and they would make me cover my eyes, but I'd be like, what's going on? And then it did evoke some feelings in me. So I would say I started like kind of feeling up on myself very early on.
It's early
and that's
for me.
so
Not early on.
weird.
And it's
Do you
funny.
really
I want to
wanna
know if you
know?
want to. I want to know if you actually beat me
Do you
in my
really
first
want to
masturbation
know?
story.
Do you really want to know?
I want to know.
I was in the Philippines.
Same.
Do you guys know when I moved?
Weren't you like 7?
Yes.
I moved when I was 7, so it was before that.
Me too.
Okay, all right. So we're like in the same boat then.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I wasn't as positive as they were. I
Yeah.
covered it up. I never shared it
Oh,
with
oh
anyone.
no, 100%.
I never
It was covered in
told
shame. There was,
anybody.
I didn't talk
There
about
was
it with nobody.
so much-
Except
This
maybe
is the first time
one
I've
best
ever
friend.
talked
There
about
was
this.
so much guilt and shame, and I felt so wrong the whole time because I remember as a kid, I took religion literally.
Me too.
And I would literally
Me
feel
too.
like, oh
Yeah.
my god, God is watching me.
100%.
I feel so
He's in the
dirty.
closet, like he's gonna jump out.
Like, oh my god.
You know?
I'm so sorry, but like, I just couldn't help it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like your emotions are like what's driving you at that point. So
I agree.
that's what it was like for me.
And then I also, for me, I had this like thing where I could do in public where I crossed my legs like super fucking hard.
I did that too.
And it would used to, I would reach a climax, and I used to like tell my besties and be like, if you just do this, I swear it's so fucking good. Please do it. Okay, like
Well,
my
you gotta
besties
do
are
it.
besties.
First off, okay, let me explain what she's talking about. When you're wearing jeans
Oh, it's
and
jeans.
you cross your legs really tight.
And it's the only thing you have to
It stimulates your vagina, stimulates your clitoris.
Does this work now?
Yes, it does, but it's
But obviously that
it's
was not, you know,
you know,
you
because
know
you've
it now.
experienced sex.
But
Okay.
as a child, it's the only thing I knew how to get off.
No, I was doing a lot of
Jeez,
stuff.
I was doing a lot of stuff. It's
no.
funny because like
Yeah.
it's funny you mention that because like my first like sexual situation
Yeah.
was with a stuffed animal. Stuffed
had
animal.
that.
Because you have
I had
hella
that.
stuffed
Same,
animals on your bed.
same.
I'm a
I
small
did it too.
child.
I'm not even gonna lie.
And I really hope my parents don't watch this.
Just don't
and
bother.
I hope they don't figure out how to get to podcasts. And
Ernest, Laura,
Yeah.
just
away.
just swipe away,
Don't.
exit out. So
Oh, yeah.
I actually I was in kindergarten. I was in kindergarten and I experienced it.
Yeah.
I don't remember how, but I had like snuffleupagus and all these animals on my bed. It's probably snuffleupagus. Sorry, Snuff. And I remember this was the bad part, and this is why I like cover. I'm so like I felt very guilty and shameful because I was in class during story time, and you can lay on your stomach and stuff like that.
Oof.
And I figured out a way
Yup.
to get off
Yup.
in class during
Yup.
story time.
Yup.
The difference is
Yup.
that I was caught. First grade
Who caught you?
and second grade.
Your teacher?
My teacher. Like,
Did they
I'd
talk
still
to
be
your
on the
parents?
floor after class, like, in my pose.
I need to come.
And, like, I was, like, wearing jeans and shit. And it was one of those things, I swear, like, she totally talked to my
Miss
parents.
Teacher, come
The
back
thing
later.
is, it's like, it was one of those things where I was always the last one up.
Yeah.
I was always, like, you know what I mean? Like, and I had, like, my signature pose. She had her
Yeah.
cross leg thing.
Yeah.
I would lay on my stomach, and I would have my hands, like, in, like, almost a prayer, like, clasp.
Yeah.
And, like, I would, like, rub and, like, hump the floor. Not, like, in an obvious way.
Okay.
But as a child, I
As
think it was
you-
obvious. Now that I'm grown, it was probably hella
It
obvious.
was probably.
you know? And it
Bro,
was just,
just
like...
think about if you were a teacher and you saw a child doing that.
So my parents were obviously notified, okay?
What did they
And
what did they say?
I never heard anything from my parents. It was probably one of those things where they're just like, oh shit, we're never going to talk about this ever again.
Yeah.
And I never, ever brought it up ever in my life until this moment.
Oh my god, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for sharing that. First of all, thank you.
They did not know that, actually. You guys didn't know.
No, you know what? I actually had a similar experience. My mom caught me masturbating pretty much. And
What it
I
is.
was like 6 years old and she smacked me across the face. She told me, wash your hands and don't ever do that again. Yeah, and I was like, okay. Yeah, so much shame, so much guilt.
Yeah, because in that moment you were just doing what felt good.
Yeah.
All of a
You
sudden
don't-
you're smack into reality.
It's mine.
This is bad.
It's mine.
And I'm curious, like, what would be your approach now?
If we
Like,
had
like
our
if you
kids?
had kids, it's like, what do you feel that it's acceptable
I have no
to allow your
that's
kids to
that question.
masturbate and like explore their bodies, explore their sexuality? Like, what do you guys think about that now?
So, you know, me and Jackie have been together for a really long time, and there was a moment where, during our early years of dating, where my dad caught us.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't there, but I remember the story.
I told you this. So
Hope not.
basically, my dad
I was
also.
outside guarding the door. Tito, no, nobody's in there. It's me. I'm the one banging
She's
the door.
changing. She's changing. Don't
I
go
mean,
in.
like, honestly, it's not
Yeah.
even like. I mean, to us, it wasn't that obvious because we were trying to be low key. It was just one of the days that my dad came home and he like
He knew.
of course he knows. Of course he knew.
Oh my god.
He fucking banged on the door and he
Way
was
too
like,
much.
"Hey, stop that!" That was it. He didn't see that. He was just like. He
Your
was
dad
just
is
like,
cool.
stop. Like that. I knew it was for real.
Dude,
So
honestly,
that's the only thing I could like relate it to. Like
yeah.
I also don't know how I would talk about it to
Yeah.
my kids. I think I think my dad did it like as elegantly as he could.
I think that's fair. I think a lot of the times, especially with like parenting, you subconsciously do what was brought onto you.
Exactly.
So if you're, of course, I'm sure like his parents, your dad's parents didn't like say anything or do
Approve of it.
anything
Yes,
or,
yes.
being a Catholic country in the Philippines. But so that's why I'm like asking now, because if you don't want to approach the situation like your parents did, then you have to really be conscious about like, okay, fuck, like,
Yes.
I gotta do
You
it
you have to
different.
time it up. You have to
you have
make
to like
sure what's
really
going on.
work to not mimic what they do, because subconsciously that's what
That's what you're gonna do. Because like
Yeah.
honestly, like
You copy what was done to you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think if I accidentally catch my kid doing whatever, whether with a partner or not, I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, oi!
Absolutely.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What's going on? But I think for me, just what I want to push forward is just
Yeah.
information,
Yeah.
being safe,
Yeah.
knowing that it's just.
So you would have the talk.
Ugh.
It's
wouldn't
so hard.
Like
It's so
you
hard.
haven't said a damn thing. You've just been making faces. Like you look like you
I
just
am
want to avoid
my
that.
mother and father's child.
100%.
So you wouldn't have the talk.
You are 100%.
I would be the lesser version of them. I
think
know
that's what
that.
he's-
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean? For
I'm
you?
sure your father was the lesser version of his parents.
I
When
agree.
he approached you.
Yeah.
So I can guarantee I'll be the lesser version of Laura and Ernie Johnson.
Okay,
Both of them.
I have something to say.
Yes, say it.
If you guys are uncomfortable with having the talk, I will talk to your kids for you. So
Okay,
just
cool.
call me up and first, of course, I will talk to you and tell them what I would say to them.
Of course.
And then I will sit down with them because y'all know I'm not having kids. But if I did have a child,
Mhm.
And you also know I ain't having kids.
she's having
Same.
kids. What?
I'm gonna have kids eventually.
No, I know. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, if for whatever reason I end up having a kid, which highly doubt it, I would love to have that talk. I would love to. That to me is just, you know what? Have you guys seen good? You guys have seen Good Boys.
Yes, I love Good Boys. It's
a
so
comedy.
good.
No, I know. I just never watched it.
Okay.
The little kids running
We're
around.
gonna watch it. Yeah. Dude,
We're gonna watch it after. Yes.
Okay, I'm down for that.
But there was this scene, and the dad comes in, and he suspects that the boy is masturbating. Spoiler alert. And he was just totally chill about it. He's just like, I think he was like, I'm proud of you. Like,
yeah.
You figured it out.
I mean, to be honest, I feel like
actually, he sat down and he was like, I know you just found out, and it's like the best toy you've ever discovered. And it's like, I don't know. Anyways, okay, I'm sorry, you were saying something.
no.
She said facts.
No, before that. And then I cut you off. No? Okay.
No.
Whoops.
No, I think I'm disagreeing. But also maybe I got distracted
Yeah.
and I lost it. But yeah, just finish it.
So, upon this, listening to our conversations, obviously we all had a bunch of shame and guilt when we had our sexual awakening, which I think is super interesting, and I think that's why that's Lux Marhan.
Yeah, it's
that
my
was
puppy.
Lux.
Yeah, if you guys hear him barking, he's so sad. He wants to come in here. He's
My
the
baby.
cutest little dog.
He really is.
But he
Thanks,
can't
guys.
talk about this, so
No, he
that's
has
why
no
he's
idea
not-
what we're talking about.
He's just like, woof, 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 woof. I have my needs too.
which is why we
Human
can't
talk.
have it. But okay, I'm sorry. I was saying, like, the reason why, for me, why I wanted to talk and put this in the podcast is because I want to bring these types of conversations to the forefront. Like, I want to be part of these conversations because I just don't think it's right to feel guilty and shameful for something so natural.
Yes.
And that's why I put this on the list of, like, topics that I want to talk about, because Two Perfect Podcast is really about relinquishing just these, like, mental shackles that bring you down. Like, this podcast is about uplifting and being the best version of yourself, and how can you do that when you feel guilt and shame, especially over things that are natural, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyways, just a little side note, my next question: when did you guys start to feel comfortable with sex? Mykah! Don't drop your mic.
I just put it down, guys, because I don't feel as though I am appropriate for this question.
Why? Why do you feel that?
I have yet to feel comfortable with
You
sex.
don't. Okay,
You don't feel
I would love
comfortable
to
yet?
talk about that. Why? What do you mean you don't feel comfortable with sex?
How does Renz feel about it? Let's just start with Renz.
Okay. You want to? Okay, fine. All right. Yeah. I have an idea of what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah,
of course,
for me, I think it's a little bit obvious. Obviously, I've been in a long-term relationship, and to me, that's what really brought on, like, I found a partner that really made it feel safe. Like, every constructive that I gave felt welcomed. It wasn't like...
She means feedback. She be giving him feedback.
I'll be giving feedback. No,
She really does. She really does. Okay. Sorry.
Just for me, I was also very shy. I also wasn't so I wasn't upfront with it in the beginning as well, but I just had a partner that I knew I can trust, and little by little I was like just saying the things I liked, the things I enjoyed, the things that we were doing that felt good, and the fact that I didn't feel like I was being pushed to something that I'm not comfortable with, and it just made me feel so like comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you. That to me is just like it naturally just progressed to that, and that's what just made me feel comfortable about it, because like in the beginning when it was just me, again there was a lot of shame, and then when I started doing stuff with boys, there was also just like a lot of secrecy. There was a lot of like oh, is this what it is? Is this what it was? There was just a lot of doubt. There was a lot of anxiety going on.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of like nurturing environment that was like saying like, no, it's like, it's okay, it's good, and
it's normal.
Exactly. So to me, that's when I became comfortable with it. I was just fortunate that I had a partner that was like taking it as slow as I was willing it to be.
That's a rarity too, by the way. And I think it's because you guys did start so young.
Yeah.
You were able to grow together into that situation.
Yeah.
Because when you're stepping into it at like 20s. You know, I want to say 20s, but, you know, some people were more sexually active in their teens.
Yes.
Me, I became sexually active at 19. I got my first kiss going into my 20s. So, you know, college age girls, you know, losing their virginities, getting their first kiss, we don't know a damn thing about boys, period. Let alone what to do with them.
Yeah.
And if we have them, what to do once we get it, you know? So it's just like, I am, even to this day, and I'll age myself, I'm 29 now, I am not comfortable with sex because I have yet to have a person, I'm single, I have been single for years now. I have not had sex with a partner that knows me. And I want to say knows me because they know who I am as a person. They know my comfort levels. They know all that stuff. I haven't had sex with a partner who knows me because I haven't been in a relationship. Right?
Yeah.
And when you get to that level of comfort, it's usually you're in a relationship, or you may not be tagging in a relationship, but you would be in a relationship with that kind of person.
Yeah.
And it's like, I am always starting over with my sexual journey with a new partner. So I don't know their boundaries, they don't know mine. I don't know where they are sexually, they don't know where I am. They don't know my comfort levels, I don't know theirs. I am literally navigating uncharted waters, you know, for me. So when it comes to sex, it's like, yeah, I want it, and like I can get it, you know, I'm adorable. But at the same time, it's like once I get it, I have all of the same insecurities and questions and all of that as I would have at 15. You know, instead of like, okay, what's a clitoris? You know, I know my body. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know what to do with my partner because just like how I go into a sexual situation with a partner as if like I'm about to like have sex with someone, they don't know what I like. They're going to try what they know on me, and they're going to get a rude awakening. You know, I'm like, don't do that. Don't touch me there. You know, like, I don't like it. And they don't know that. So it's not like they don't know what they're doing. It's just that you're going off of your prior experiences. And if your prior experiences don't match that person, then you're already starting off literally like, not 0, but like -2. You know,
interesting.
You have to gain ground and build their comfort because you've already almost done something that they're uncomfortable with. Usually you go into sex with a partner already comfortable, you know, at 0, at least 5. And then it builds on that. So if I'm going into it and I'm already insecure and I'm about to have sex with someone and they're flipping me into a position or they're doing something, they're talking dirty in a weird way, or they're like slapping me around because they like it rough, I'm already agitated and I'm vulnerable. You know, so it's just like sex is uncomfortable.
Wow.
It is. It's period. You know, it's uncomfortable. I like it, but it's not a comfortable situation.
Oh my gosh! I just had so many different thoughts just now. That's so very fascinating to me. Because like it's because. You guys, like, me and Mykah have known each other for 5 years, and we've talked about sex, we've talked about boys, but this is really the first time that I'm getting this much honesty out of her, because it's not something I would have ever guessed for her to think.
I'm not dishonest. I just don't talk about this.
Because it's like, there's a comfort. And then eventually when people talk about it, there's also a certain like level that you could say, depending on the situation, depending on who's around and stuff like that.
I also feel like there's people going to be listening to this who feel the way I do.
I know. That was
Exactly.
actually my question. Like, I would love to hear like the audience, especially because of the way that our podcast is positioned. Right, it's really for people who are worry-filled people.
Yes.
And so, of course, people who have a lot of worry have typically a lot of insecurities. I would love to hear, you know, your personal stories. Comment below if you're on YouTube. Y'all already know, like, I'm gonna comment back. I love reading, like,
She lives for it.
I live in the comment section, so I would love to hear
Not surprised.
just everybody's like personal stories. Wow. So now that you do have this, you know, like, I guess you know this about yourself now.
Oh yeah,
right?
I've known this for a minute.
What are you doing to maneuver through that, or like what have you done, or what do you want to do, or do you have an idea, or are you just kind of like, I don't fucking know, or like what's going on?
It's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
With
yeah.
a major percentage of I don't fucking know. So I do want to say that, because like if we knew, then we'd be doing it, right? So like I don't know, but at the same time, it's like I know I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
I feel like the first step is becoming aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the second is just like, okay, so how do we fix this?
Sure.
So it's just like, okay, you get an idea of how to fix it, but you don't really know how to fix it.
Yeah.
You just try to move towards like the positive outcome.
Yeah.
Sure.
So for me, like, I've been single for 6 years. I've been single for 6 years. I've only ever had 2 boyfriends. The first one was 10 months. The second one was 2.5 years. Ended by 23. I met her a few months after that.
Literally.
Wild out at the club. Hadn't been to a club before. But, like, you know, because I was taken.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to say that these 6 years, I went from being really young and growing up to hurting and filling the void to wanting love and searching for it. I feel like that searching piece is why you don't end up like finding it, what you're actually looking for. And then like coming to the realization of I can't really find the person that I'm looking for, like in general, but also sexually, until I get right with myself. And that right with yourself doesn't necessarily, it's not like you're like self-loathing or anything. Self-love comes in every category. And it's one of those things where it's just like, if I'm uncomfortable talking about sex, if I'm uncomfortable like buying a toy or buying lingerie, like why the hell would someone want to have sex with me? I'm literally the most unsexual person looking for sex, you know? So it's one of those things where, like, yes, I did just buy this lingerie, but, you know,
which is sickening on you.
It's on you guys, if you only knew.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things where you kind of get good with yourself. For me, it took me gaining a lot of weight, actually. I went from being athletic and, like, that perfect physique, almost, to, like, oh, yeah, if you want to get a guy, you got to look perfect. And I was getting sexual partners that didn't fit me. I was attracting guys that looked pretty, but like there was no substance. It took me getting fat, and I say fat like gaining weight for me. A non-athletic body type for me to come to that realization, because I needed to break up with all of my unhealthy habits that were leading to my dysfunctional sex life. And that meant like, okay, I'm attracting D-bags. So why? Oh, because I look like this. Why do I look like this? Because I was trying to get a guy. I was hurting after I broke up. I threw myself into the gym, and I realized, like, okay, like I love fitness, but I also realized I had a very unhealthy relationship in the relationship. And so I gained some weight. I was unhappy. I drank, and all of that was necessary for my healing, right? I drank, I partied, I talked to a lot of people. I got comfortable after a while with myself. I wanted to have sex, as you know, in the position where I was at, And I found partners who I connected with on a deeper level, which made me feel more comfortable in general, which made me more comfortable having sex with them. And like moving towards that, like I just kept finding guys that matched more with my personality versus just the aesthetic, who matched more with my, you know, intellect. Wow. And were just more comfortable with themselves. I was more comfortable with myself. I noticed that I wasn't comfortable with me being fit, and I was getting guys that weren't comfortable with themselves being fit, and it was a projection thing.
Ooh.
So they were projecting that onto the people, and I was projecting it onto people, and we were both unhappy and unmentally healthy people. So for me to get comfortable, like I'm not there yet, but I am getting with people. I'm finding partners that are encouraging me to want to continue moving forward. Wow. Because I am constantly feeling more comfortable as I move.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's like the most important thing about sex is just being comfortable.
Yes. And you don't understand how hard that is. Like you said, it's like the comfort, you were with your partner. You can give feedback, like, oh my gosh. Like giving feedback to a new partner means you're never going to see that partner again. Usually.
Have you tried it?
Yes. That's how I know. It's like, I felt comfortable. I told you, oh yeah, I like this. I didn't really care for that. And it's almost like I hurt them. Because you gotta remember, sex is very vulnerable.
Is that what they said?
No, that's what they showed.
Okay.
They showed it, you know?
Yeah.
Because like it was, as soon as when you give feedback, if you take it constructively, it's like a mental note.
Yeah.
When you don't, it's, you become...
It's like an attack.
Yeah, you become very defensive.
Yes.
And
it's
it was
almost like it's just a criticism that they can't handle.
Absolutely. And they were defensive, or like they acted like it was a mental note, and then like they shied away. Because it's like, you are naked, you are literally the most vulnerable you could ever be, you know, at least physically. And then it's like, if you're not strong enough to take that criticism because you don't feel comfortable with that person, it's literally like I gave you what I thought was my best and it wasn't good enough and I was attacked for it. That's how it's taken.
Yes.
You know? So it's just like...
That makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
so
if
you're a guy listening to our podcast, I think like...
Shouts out to you.
Shout out to you, and like please, like when a female is giving you feedback on how they like it, I hope you don't take it like personally, because I see that as an opportunity of growth, an opportunity of pleasure for both you and her, because that's usually where it leads to, in my opinion. Because like I can see that. I can see men, I can see also some women like taking it as like I guess we're not compatible, so we should stop doing this. But no, that's not the case. Like sometimes when you're with someone new, it's never gonna be just right, and sometimes it takes some caliber. So
yeah, you have to just kind of like, as you're going through it, especially if you like the person, right?
Exactly.
It may not have been perfect, but we've all had sex with someone and it was not perfect, and we still liked them and we were willing to do it again anyway. And it's because we were comfortable with them at some level, and we felt as though they were coachable or were coachable, you know, because we've all taken some feedback. I'm sure we've all taken feedback. Have you taken feedback before? Ever? With anything?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just like, just because it was good doesn't mean it can't get better.
Exactly.
It's just like, it's like, that was amazing. But you know how you did that one thing where you tickled my elbow? Don't do that again. It's just like, all right, I won't do it again.
I'm not with the...
Right? Like, that specifics, not necessarily.
Can you pause the camera real quick?
What's up, y'all? Hope you enjoyed part 1 of this episode so far, and if you did enjoy it, you definitely want to stay tuned for part 2, which is dropping this Thursday at 12 a.m. In that part of this episode, we are exploring the concept of being good in bed, analyzing sexual performance, and just so much more on this topic. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and rate and follow us. You can find us Two Perfect Podcasts on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on all podcast streaming platforms. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love you, and we will see you on Thursday. Bye.